shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry. You just see his neck just like open up and there's just like so much blood that just came out. It was horrible. And all I felt was like everybody bringing me down to the ground.
To whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you.
What started as just another day on a college campus has become a tragedy that's shaken our entire nation. September 10th, 2025, Charles Kirk, a name you probably know from his fiery debates and campus tours, was gunned down in broad daylight. It happened right in front of thousands of people who came just to hear him speak. I know this is heavy, but we need to talk about what happened. Because when someone is silenced by a bullet for their beliefs, that affects all of us. Before we dive in, I need your help to make sure the story reaches everyone who needs to hear it. Hit that subscribe button. Seriously, it takes 2 seconds. Turn on those notifications and drop a like on this video. And hey, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Your support isn't just helping this channel grow. It's helping us keep important stories like this in the spotlight. Picture this. It's a beautiful afternoon in Utah. Students are walking between classes, the sun's shining, and Utah Valley University has this massive tent set up for what everyone thought would be just another campus event. Nearly 3,000 people showed up. Students, community members, some supporters, some critics. You know how these things go. Charles Kirk is up there doing what he does best, taking questions from the crowd, sparking those debates that either fire people up or drive them crazy. The topic had shifted to gun violence, already a sensitive subject, but Kirk was handling it like he always did, with that confident, no-nonsense style that made him famous. For everyone there, this was just Tuesday, another stop on his tour, another chance for college students to engage with ideas, even if they disagreed. Nobody, and I mean nobody, could have imagined that somewhere in the distance someone was already taking aim. Then it happened. One moment, Kirk is mid-sentence, engaging with his audience. The next, there's this sharp crack that cuts through everything. For just a heartbeat, people weren't sure what they'd heard. Was that a car backfiring? Fireworks? But then came the screams. The bullet had found its target with devastating precision, striking Kirk in the neck. His body jerked and he went down hard. I can't imagine what that must have been like for the people right there. Seeing someone go from animated and alive to fighting for their life in an instant. The scene turned into absolute chaos. Blood was everywhere. People were diving for cover. Others were rushing forward trying to help. Parents were screaming for their kids. Students didn't know whether to run or help. Some brave souls pressed their hands against his wound, desperately trying to stop the bleeding while others called for help. The paramedics fought through that panicked crowd, but we all know how this story ends. Despite their best efforts, despite everyone who tried to save him, Charles Kirk died from that single shot. A voice that had sparked countless debates, influenced thousands of young people, and yes, frustrated just as many others. That voice was silenced forever. Within minutes, the whole area looked like a crime scene from a movie. Armed officers everywhere, students being evacuated, several people detained and questioned, though they were later released. What investigators discovered should send chills down your spine. This wasn't some random act of violence or a spur-of-the-moment attack. The shot came from nearly 200 yards away. 200 yards. That's not someone who snapped in the moment. That's someone who planned this, who positioned themselves on a rooftop like something out of a thriller, except this was real life. This was calculated. This was an assassination. The FBI didn't waste any time getting involved. When federal agents show up with specialized teams trained for exactly this kind of political violence, you know this isn't just another campus incident. They've got shell casings, surveillance footage from every angle, witness statements from 3,000 people. But here's what should terrify all of us. With all that evidence, all that technology, all those resources, the shooter is still out there. They planned this attack, carried it out in broad daylight, and vanished like smoke. How does that happen in 2025? The stories from people who were there will break your heart. One student described thinking it was fireworks until they saw Kirk collapse. Another talked about children crying while their parents frantically tried to shield them. People pointed out there was virtually no security, no bag checks, no metal detectors, just an open event where anyone could walk in. One witness I can't stop thinking about described volunteers pressing their hands against Kirk's wound, watching the blood pour out, praying for a miracle that never came. Imagine being a college student, maybe attending your first political event and witnessing something like that. How do you process that? How do you ever feel safe at a public gathering again? The ripple effects of this shooting have already reached the highest levels of government. Utah's Governor Spencer Cox didn't mince words. He called this exactly what it was: a political assassination. Think about that phrase, political assassination. In America, in 2025, Turning Point USA released a statement calling Kirk's death an attack on free speech itself. And honestly, how can you argue with that? Whether you agreed with him or not, whether his politics aligned with yours or drove you up the wall, he was exercising his right to speak, and someone decided that right didn't matter. Former President Trump and leaders from both parties have condemned this attack, though predictably, the political responses have already started splitting along party lines. Social media is exploding with tributes, outrage, and unfortunately, conspiracy theories that are only making things worse. But here's what cuts through all the political noise. This isn't just about Charles Kirk anymore. This is about whether any of us are safe to express our beliefs in public. If someone with Kirk's platform and security awareness can be taken out like this, what does that mean for local politicians, for activists, for anyone who dares to speak up about anything controversial? So where does that leave us? The FBI has surveillance footage, eyewitness testimony from thousands, ballistics evidence, and a clear line of sight from the shooter's position. Yet nobody's been arrested. We don't know what weapon was used, we don't know the motive, and we have no idea how the shooter just disappeared. Was this a lone wolf who finally snapped? Or was this part of something bigger, more organized? Was Kirk targeted specifically for his politics? Or was there something more personal behind this? Every day without answers makes these questions more urgent and more frightening. Think about what this means. Someone out there planned and executed a political assassination on American soil and walked away clean. They're still out there right now, maybe planning their next move, maybe thinking they got away with it. Maybe they did. This case represents something bigger than one tragic death. It's a reflection of just how dangerous our political climate has become. When bullets start replacing ballots, when disagreement turns deadly, when people would rather silence voices than engage with ideas they don't like, we're in serious trouble as a society. I'm going to keep following this story until we get answers, until someone is held accountable, until we understand how this happened and how to prevent it from happening again. But I need your help to make sure the story doesn't disappear from the headlines. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with people who need to understand what's at stake. Every subscription, every like, every comment helps keep pressure on investigators and keeps this case in the public eye. We're working toward our first 1,000 subscribers, and your support makes all the difference. Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from and what you think about this case. Because this isn't just about Charles Kirk. This is about all of us, and whether we're going to let violence win over dialogue, fear over freedom, bullets over ballots. Justice for Charles Kirk means justice for the idea that in America, you should be able to speak your mind without fear of being gunned down for it. Let's make sure his voice and this story are never forgotten.